My name is Mark Rakhmilevich. I'm with Oracle, part of the development team that's responsible for our blockchain cloud platform. I'm on the product management side, do a lot of work obviously from a requirements perspective, but also a lot of customers who actually deploying this in the field, deploying this in various applications. And I'm going to take about 10 minutes or so. I'll see if I can fit it into 10 minutes. And take you through a brief example of what the deployment of Hyperledger Fabric, which is what our platform is based on, actually looks like as a managed PaaS offering in an Oracle Cloud environment. We'll skip the safe harbor statement here. Just to give you a sense of kind of Oracle direction, we are very much focused on enterprise customer base. We have customers across a large number of vertical industries, and many of them are eager to adopt blockchain into a variety of application environments. Some are built from scratch, others they integrate. They're all looking for enterprise-ready feature set, performance, reliability, confidentiality, all of those things. They want to be able to do it quickly. They don't want to spend a lot of time building up the technology from scratch. They want easy integration with a lot of systems of record applications, whether it's Oracle, ERP, SAP, or any other systems that they might be using to run their day-to-day business. And so those are the things that we are focusing on. So our platform is built essentially in an Oracle Cloud infrastructure environment, what we call OCI, using a lot of underlying services and capabilities that are focused on providing all the dependencies that you need to be able to bring up and run Fabric successfully. And on top of that OCI infrastructure, we have Fabric with some of our enhancements and additional capabilities. We have a range of integration options through extensive REST APIs, SDKs, as well as adapters in our integration cloud for various applications that provide plug-and-play kind of capabilities. And so all of that is pre-assembled, and I'll show you how easy and simple it is to actually get on a cloud environment, sign up, get it done, bring it up, and start using it. It's also open. We interoperate with non-Oracle instances. We've done that with open source instances of Fabric. We've worked with a few other members of Hyperledger to actually demonstrate that, and we'll be announcing more on that shortly. So it's a very open environment. There's applications that integrate, by the way, don't have to be in the cloud. They could be, well, don't have to be in Oracle clouds, or they can be, but they can be on-premise. They could be third-party clouds, etc., using REST APIs or using the SDKs that Fabric provides. I mentioned all of the integration adapters that are there, make it easier. Many people spend a couple months building up infrastructure, bringing up Fabric, and then they spend another 6 months on integration points with a variety of systems. And that's really just a lot of effort that could be streamlined by using plug-and-play integration adapters. A number of enterprise-grade features around things like managed lifecycle, patching, upgrades, zero downtime, high availability, built-in autonomous recoverability and backup, and a bunch of other things. And automated DevOps, something that we feel very important because the skills out there are thoroughly limited, and customers who are thinking about deploying something on blockchain, Fabric or any other blockchain, one of the biggest worries based on some reports I've seen from Gartner are the skills out there to support and manage this. And so we can take over and provide that capability to the customers. They have less to worry about. They can focus more on the applications. Now, how do we build this in Oracle Cloud environment? We essentially use containers and VMs under our what we call PaaS Service Manager in Oracle Cloud. So we have a control plane that consists of Fabric nodes in green, and a couple things we've added, REST proxy and operations console, which are Oracle add-ons, running in a high availability multi-VM environment for resiliency. That's also something that allows us to do rolling patches. When we apply patches, we can do zero downtime managed upgrades and patching. We separated out chain code VMs. One of the key requirements from a security perspective is to ensure that the chain code, which is customer code, is isolated completely from the control plane in our cloud environment. So when we look at any other Oracle service, it's kind of a standard practice. And we make sure that we do that as well, because ultimately the code is running in chain code containers. If there is some kind of kernel vulnerability, you can break out of a container, and then will continue within the VM, but won't let you get into the control plane. And then we have our Kafka ordering, of course, environment as well. Zookeeper and Kafka brokers here, 3-cluster VM as well. Connected into a variety of other Oracle Cloud services. So we have a management service, does telemetry, monitoring, operational stuff. Object store, we back up the data, all of the configuration information on every configuration update, and also on any block being added to the ledger. automatically backed up into our object store. The object store is distributed across multiple availability domains. In Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, each region has at least 3 availability domains. In the metro areas, 3 separate data centers. And so we can recover, if something goes down at a data center level, we can recover from an object store in a nearby availability domain. We have also integrated our Identity Cloud service, which provides for authentication, authorization, role management, and so on. And one of the really neat things is that our Identity Cloud service not only provides authentication purely for identities registered in here, but it federates with external identity providers. So if you need to be able to, in a blockchain network, do authentications that involves multiple parties, the federation through the SAML protocol really helps. So this kind of infrastructure, on top we have our load balancer and web firewall stuff and all of that. And then connections that are coming in. We have a UI console, I'll show you that in a minute, that is used for operational administration stuff. Of course, client SDK connections through gRPC, also third-party Fabric peer nodes can connect into our ordering service, and vice versa. And then REST APIs that we build, pretty extensive set of REST APIs for clients that want to integrate that way. And this is a little bit more of a look at how things are connected inside, all of the different external components coming in. And of course, it's coming as a REST call, it's coming into our REST proxy, which then orchestrates the transaction flow. One of the things we felt was that application developers, many of them at least, would find it challenging to build things using the async model in the SDK when you have to orchestrate your own transaction flow. You have to talk to the peers, get endorsements, and you have to talk to the orders. And so we simplified that by providing the ability to do synchronous calls, and REST proxies doing the orchestrations under this environment, and that connects to all of the other components. So rather than bore you with slides, let me go to a live instance and very quickly see if I can bring up here. Okay, so here's my Oracle Cloud dashboard. And I have a number of different services in here already allocated, but I'm going to go click on Create Instance. And I can select under All Services and find somewhere in here, there is enough of them out that it makes it a little bit complex to find things. But somewhere there was a blockchain. I hope it's still there. Hold on. I'm going to go a little slower. Here we go. Autonomous blockchain. Okay, click on Create. So if my network connection is good, it's connecting. All right. So we have 2 ways that you can actually create an instance. We have what we call quick start templates. A developer instance, which is a small one you can get started with, doesn't have the HA stuff, but it has everything else. And you click Create, and we have 2 enterprise instances that are fully HA-enabled, resiliency. Everything I showed you is included in those instances, and they're just different in the number of cores that are allocated in to the instances themselves. Or you can go custom way, and if you want to tinker with the configuration, we actually allow you to do a few things. You specify the instance name, okay? Let's call it Basel 1. You can put in your email for notification. You can select a region. Right now I'm connected to the US data center, so Ashburn, Phoenix. There is also London and Frankfurt in Europe. So let's select Ashburn. And a couple parameters, right? So there is a developer type, a configuration type, which is a developer enterprise X1 or X4. I'll pick developer. The number of peers, I think you can go up to 14 peers in an instance, and then you can connect multiple instances for more. And you have this checkbox which specifies if you're creating a new network, which will be an instance created including an ordering service. If I uncheck it, I'm going to create an instance which is a participant instance that needs to be connected to another ordering service. And so it's going to give me basically some details to verify that I didn't make any mistakes. I will click Create. And this will now go away, and probably 5 to 10 minutes is what it will take to actually go ahead and allocate. And you see here, Basil 1, creating service. But I have a bunch more that's already been created. So since we're short on time, I'm going to go and find an instance that I already have created. And this is, once you create an instance, you can go into the dashboard view. Now, let me see if I can reduce the zoom factor here so we can get more of it. Okay, something like that. All right, so you have a bar here that shows the content of your particular instance and network, 14 channels, 2 peers, number of chain codes, and number of participating organizations, 5 organizations that have joined. Here have a dashboard view that shows you a little bit of information on the utilization of the 2 VMs, control VM, CPU, memory, etc. Overall health, channel activity for the top channels, peer activity, both endorsements and commits, so you can toggle here. And you can select the time period, custom, or day, week, etc. Pretty straightforward stuff. Network tab shows you the actual network, and I have a list view here where I have my founder instances and then founder instances and participant instances. I'll try to zoom out a little bit to make it a little bit easier to see. Is this better in the back there? And I have a menu where I can export my certificates, and this is how I manage all of the certificate import-export if I need to. I can also go see my topology view. Blue circle is an instance, so I have now 6 instances connected. The one I'm on is right here. This is a supply chain shipping grocery store network. I have 2 peers. I have my CA. I have ordering service. Another instance is connected with remote peers. R stands for remote peer. So there's a bunch of them there, and you can, zoom in and out and so on. Do all of that cool stuff. All right, then we have a nodes view in the dashboard. Here again, I have a table view. My console container, I have 2 peers, order, CA. I have REST proxies. And then I have other peers. Notice the names here. They've been imported. Those are the remote peers from other organizations, imported from the other MSPs. Right, so my MSP ID is Prodonest, and then there is a bunch of other ones. You have full control over configuration. I can go and look at the configuration for the peer. There is some basic stuff and then advanced attributes, and you can set hundreds of different options here for the configuration that you need to. You can add a node. You could add a peer node easily in this environment. You can click on the peer node and get to see the health summary, some basic metrics associated with that peer, which as soon as it updates, we'll see. So it gives me the CPU and memory and then transaction numbers here, which for some reason didn't yet update. The channels it's on, I can drill down to the channels, the chain codes which are installed, and I can get access to the logs. And one of the things that we do for the logs, if I select, let's say, last month here, we rotate the log. So at midnight UTC time, we snap the log, put it in an archive so you can actually easily find stuff. But of course, you have a current log as well to see the current data. Nothing in the current log. We have a channels view. Oh, sorry, in the nodes view, one other thing I wanted to show you. In the nodes view, topology view. So on the left here, I have the nodes. You can see them being populated. And on the right-hand side, I have channels. This topology diagram allows me to see who's in which channels, right? So here's a channel. If I highlight it, food network gov, I have 2 nodes, Prodonest, Wilcos, and so on. We have a bunch of channels here defined. We use this environment for hands-on lab with multiple teams, like a mini hackathon, so that's why there are so many channels. Each one had a separate channel. But you can see which nodes are on there. Or if you want to go look at a particular node, you can see which channels it belongs to. So just a little easier way to look at the stuff. You go into the channels, you can quickly look at all of the channels that are defined. I can drill down into a channel. I can see the ledger, the actual blocks associated with the channel. Sometimes I talk to customers and say, what does the blockchain look like? I mean, what are we really talking about? Well, it's a collection of blocks, right? Here's a block, and there are 2 transactions in the block. And I can expand and I can see the details of the transactions. And I can see who were. Let's find an interesting transaction that does something other than query. Well, all of them query. But anyway, I can see who was the initiator, who was the endorsers, and so on, as well as all the parameters. If I find a transaction here that's actually updating some data, let me go and scroll a little bit more here and find another one. Well, it's all queries anyway. So some updates in the chain codes tab gives you access to the chain codes. There is wizards to deploy new chain code, quick deployment, advanced deployment, depending on how many parameters you need to set. You can look at the individual chain codes. There's multiple versions. When you look at a particular version, it will show you the peers it's on, the channels it's on, and you can look at the logs from the chain code execution container for those particular chain codes. And then finally, you have developer tools. We have some materials here to download for the chain code development, for application development. And then we have some samples as well, to samples that you can install, instantiate. There are some menus here to drive the transactions and drive the actions in those particular environments, the transaction results, and so on. Just a quick walkthrough of an environment that allows you to provision quickly, integrate very rapidly, and brings this up in a cloud infrastructure. As I said, it takes about 10 minutes or so to be able to provision a new instance. And you get the benefits of full Hyperledger Fabric network. We are currently at 1.1, and we are upgrading to 1.3 version of Fabric by the end of the month or so, maybe early January, so that will be available. And all of the value adds that Oracle provides around pre-assembled dependencies, very extensive REST proxy with very powerful REST APIs, including event subscription APIs through REST. The consoles that you just saw, all of the backplane services integrated, rich integration with variety of systems of records through integration adapters. We support, by the way, in chain code, SQL-based rich queries, some things that we've implemented using Berkeley DB to replace LevelDB and CouchDB. So we can now run SQL inside chain code and cut down the amount of code you have to write for rich queries by 30 to 40%. And so ability to deploy this in a variety of environments. One of the things we've done that I want to show you quickly is an analytics integration environment, because we have integrated analytics into blockchain in a way that allows you to very quickly, let me just get to the analytics view here, which is, okay, here we go. What we do is we actually, as an option, provide the capability to have blockchain history be reflected into the Oracle database cloud service with all of the expanded history data. So all the transaction history that's normally kept in the blocks, which it is, can also be shadowed into an Oracle database in a relational format. And then you can connect analytics service, any kind of BI tools. I'm using Oracle Analytics Cloud, but anything else will work as long as it can talk to a database and draw some charts. And so that's basically what we're doing here. I have an analytics environment that I've created. Let me bring it up. See how quickly my connection works here. And in the Analytics Cloud, I've done some basic, again, this is grocery products being shipped and so on. So I can look at variety of charts that I've built here. I can create new ones through the data elements in my state database and history. We take state database and history both into a relational model. There's just a quick chart to show me the products that are being tracked, inventory value by product name. No code involved. No queries involved. You don't have to do anything other than click a couple buttons to connect. When you create a channel, specify a rich history database and provide a connection string that you want to connect to. Everything else is done automatically for you, built in, right? If I want to look at a chart here, let's say product inventory, and the category is product name and owner, but instead I want to change this to, and I'll show you that it's live. Let's say to supermarket. Let me see if I can drop supermarket in here. And it will redraw my charts and update it as soon as it's done in a minute here to show them is product inventory by supermarkets. And here it is. I can look at the shipments, whatever analytics you want to do. The point is, we take the history data, which is really hard to get access to, and instead of doing queries against the blockchain, which will load the blockchain significantly, instead we basically have a side database that we maintain in a relational schema that provides analytics integration. So I'll pause here. Happy to take any questions. We have some time. If we have a couple minutes, I guess nobody's kicking us out. So. Yes.
Is shellcode in Node.js available right now?
Yes. Node.js and Go both available. Yeah. Oh, somebody's saying the time. Okay. I'll be around if anybody else wants to come by. Yeah. Good question.
Trial accounts?
Trial accounts. We are currently working on providing a SDK for trials. So our trial accounts are not available as free promos at the moment. We keep looking at the requirements there that might change, but we will have available an SDK that you can download and play with. Anything?
For a developer, how much does it cost?
How much it costs? So the pricing model right now is based on transaction volumes, and there are some minimums involved. Developer instance will roughly run, I believe, about $360 a month. And that is a full Fabric environment. And you could do that on a monthly commit basis, or you could do kind of pay as you go. There's different buying plans, but you can start at $360 a month. And you can talk to your Oracle. I just build the stuff. I don't sell it. So if you know a good, friendly Oracle salesperson, I'm going to give you a bit of a discount. Anything else? Any questions? Yes.
Just wanted to check if there's any special adapter Oracle provide for the integration between Oracle blockchain cloud service and other REST or SOAP-based services to integrate with the external ERP or
Yeah, sure. So you could do that. So our REST adapter is essentially built into the Fabric. So when you create an instance, the REST proxy, which I showed, is essentially an adapter. And that publishes and provides REST APIs. So that's available in there. You can use Integration Cloud for more SOAP-based and other SOAP stuff. I'm being told we need to stop here. So thank you very much. And come find me outside if you have any more questions.